Hey guys, and welcome back to yet another Monday critique. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I'm having a wonderful day. So today we're going to be critiquing two wonderful images, and we're going to also be covering some awesome tips provided by our wonderful guest, Prince Meyson. I'm going to introduce him in a minute. But before we do, if it's just your first time joining the Monday critique, what we do here every Monday is basically critique two images submitted by you, the viewers, and the folks that are members of our Facebook community, which I'll show you guys that in a minute because that's how you could submit your images. So we critique those images, give you guys feedback, and we have a great time in the sense that you guys provide feedback live as we're doing this broadcast. So let me transition it to my desktop so I could show you guys exactly how you could submit your images for critique, if that's what you would like to do. All right, so let me show you that really quick. All right, so here I am on my desktop. So the group that you could submit your images to, it's called Fine Art Photography and Modeling, right? So if you're a member of this group, you can go ahead and submit your images in a specific pinned post that's at the very top of this group, which is this specific pinned post right here. You could go ahead and submit your images right there. Now, if you're not a member of this group, you're going to have to submit a request to become a member of this group. And when you submit a request, there's three specific questions that you're prompted with. And if you don't answer those three questions, you don't get let into the group. It's really that simple. And once you answer those three questions, it's three photography related questions, you're let into the group. And if you wish for your images to be critiqued, just find this pinned post at the very top of the group and then go into the comment section of that pinned post, just like all these other users did, and submit your images. Provide certain information about your image, like how it was captured, the f-stops, the ISO, and all that good stuff. Put that information at the very top of the image so that we can have some context as to how this image was captured. And that's it. Look, there's two people that's currently pending. Let's see if they answer the question. So these two individuals did not answer the question. So guess what? They're not going to get let in. So it's as simple as that. You got to answer the questions or you don't get let into the group. All right. So our special guest tonight, his name is Prince Meyson, and he is an amazing photographer and retoucher that's out in Nigeria. Now, if you don't know him, I'm going to show you some of his work here, and I'm going to have him, tell us a couple of things about himself. Let me just switch over here to my desktop with Prince Meyson. Hang on. Hey, what's up, Prince? What's going on?
What's good, Ernesto? Thank you for having me.
Well,
Really appreciate it.
thank you for being on the show, sir. What is it there now? What, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning?
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here.
2 a.m. Man,
Yeah.
I certainly appreciate you staying up this late to join
Well,
this show.
nice.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Prince.
Yeah, so my name is Prince Meyson. I've been doing photography for about five years now. So I do both photography and a little bit of cinematography. Like I shoot videos every once in a while. I am also a retoucher for the most part. I am like a photographer, like a full-time photographer in Lagos, Nigeria. So that's what I do. You guys can check me out on Instagram. You guys can check me out on Facebook. Um, Yeah, I think those are the two places I'm most active. Then my website, it's Prince Mason on everywhere, social media everywhere. So yeah, that's me basically, just a full-time photographer here in Lagos, Nigeria.
Well, thank you again, Prince, for joining the show. So, guys,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely go check him out on Instagram and his social media. He has some amazing work, guys, and you're going to learn a lot from him. Also, he has a YouTube channel. This is his YouTube channel here.
yes,
So if you want to know all the secrets that he has in his head and he puts on his YouTube, go there and you basically get all those great tips. I myself get some great tips from watching his YouTube channel. So go there and you'll learn a lot. So,
Thanks, man.
so no worries. I mean, it's helpful to me. Has to be helpful to everybody else. So we're gonna start here. So what we're gonna do here first, before we jump into these two images, what I would like to do is cover the 5 amazing tips that will help you guys become better retouchers. So Prince, since Prince is our wonderful guest and the amazing retoucher, he's going to give us 5 tips, including myself. So I'm going to be listening very, very attentively to these tips
Yeah.
on how to become a better retoucher. So, Prince,
Okay.
hit us.
Okay. So 5 tips how to become a better retoucher. I just don't want to waste too much time, so I'm just going to like breeze through them. So the first one is getting it right in camera, and that's like a mistake that most people make. They have this mindset that I'll probably fix it in post. You know, when I get on my PC, you know, if something is not right, I'll do it in post. I'll take this out in post, or maybe I'll make the skin look this way in post and all that. I think it's the wrong mentality to have when you're a photographer. Whatever you have to do, make sure you do it there on set. Make sure the pictures look great in camera. Make sure they look the way you want them to look in camera. And another thing with your pictures looking great in camera is you get to want to retouch them. When you take a picture and the picture looks amazing, you have this, you know, eagerness to want to, you know, get the picture out for other people to see. You want to retouch these images. You want to make them look even better. So that's the first thing when it comes to getting great retouched images. So Ernesto, you want to add anything to that?
No, I totally agree. I mean, if you don't get it right in camera, you're working from a terrible base to begin with. So
Yeah.
it definitely pays to practice your craft. And, you know, if you don't think it's right in camera, it's not right. So move on.
Okay, okay. So let's move to number two. Number two is calibrating your monitor, right? Now, that's one mistake that most people make. They just buy a PC and they probably just start using it right away. I did that too when I started, but the day I calibrated my monitor was the day like my retouching literally changed. I could see the colors of the skin tones look the same way I wanted them to look or the way they were meant to look. You know, it kind of like helps you balance, you know, your reds and your blues, your magentas, your greens, and it just makes everything look true to the eye, true to life, you know. And that's one very important aspect of, you know, retouching, making sure that you have your colors on check, making sure that your colors look perfect, like in camera and on your PC. So that's actually a great way. Then another thing I'll tell people is make sure that when it comes to colors and calibrating your system and all that, make sure if you shoot with sRGB on your camera when you're retouching, um, in Photoshop, change the, should I say, the format of your
The color
stuff.
space.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Your color space. Change it to sRGB too, so it just helps everything work seamless.
Yeah, totally agree. I could definitely vouch for that because I used to edit before I was quote unquote a photographer. I used to edit
Yeah.
on my uncalibrated monitor, and what I used to do is basically put the image, upload the image privately on Facebook, and then I would
Yeah.
look at the image on my phone. I would look at the image on my laptop. I would look at the image on any other device just to see if it's right. And if it's not right, then I have to go back to the drawing board and, you know, fix it up again. But yeah,
Mhm.
definitely calibrate your monitors is a great tip.
Okay. Okay. So now number three.
All right. It seems, hang on, we got to give Prince a minute here to come back because he's in Nigeria and I think he might have an issue with his internet. So we'll give him a minute to come back. So in the meantime, guys, please share this video with your friends and family. I never really said this before, but share these videos or share this live broadcast right now with your friends so that they can, you know, join in the conversation. So, hang on, Prince is calling me back. 1 second. Oops. I think I just hung up on him. Hang on, guys. Let me get him back. Sorry. Hang on. It's live. What you expect, you know? All right, there he goes. Hey,
Hello?
Prince.
Yeah, I think you lost me. The connection just went.
Yeah, I was just making
Okay,
conversation with the people.
okay, great.
Uh,
So what were
but
you guys talking
but we're
about?
I was just letting them know to share this video with their friends, so other people could join in.
Okay.
So where we left off was on number 3.
Number three, which is zooming in and zooming out of your image while you're retouching. Now, this will help you a lot, especially when you're working for pictures on the internet or when you're working for pictures for print. Now, most times if you're going to work for images with large prints, or for large prints, I mean, it's advisable you zoom into your image and retouch them that way for the most part, not like all the time. It's also still advisable you zoom out because people are going to see them two ways. People are going to see them up close. Let's say it's in the mall and it's for like a large print that's going to be on a door or a window or something. People are going to see it that way, like up close, and they're going to see it like from afar. So you have to put that into consideration. But when you are actually working for pictures that you're just going to put on the internet, it's advisable that you just don't spend too much time zoomed in into that image. Another reason why you should zoom out and zoom into your image is most times it's good to, not just be not just look at your image from one perspective, look at it from different um, perspectives. So you zoom into 100% or probably zoom out to 100%, then zoom into like 50, probably 25, whatever it is. Just keep going in and out and it'll help you retouch better because people are going to see these images at different distances. So that's very, very important.
Actually, that's one. Actually, Prince has a video on this, guys, on these 5 tips. So go check out that video on his channel. But when I saw this video, I think this was the most valuable tip that he provided for me because I pretty
Yeah.
much edited all my images exactly the same way. I guess I edited my images for Prince. If it's, I didn't know any better, but this was a great
Okay.
tip. All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
So tip
So
number
number
4.
four, shortcuts and actions. Now, this tip will not help you retouch better, but it will help you retouch faster. So the good thing about shortcuts and actions is that if you're a photographer, I advise you spend more time shooting than retouching. Like you make more money when you shoot, than when you retouch, except you're a retoucher. So if you're a photographer, I advise you use a lot of shortcuts, create a lot of shortcuts, create a lot of actions for yourself so you can retouch faster. So it's just that simple. Shortcuts and actions are to retouch faster. Also, you can still get like different actions that will help you add colors to your images. Probably maybe you're like doing a fashion shoot and you just don't have the time to like grade all the images. You can go online, download a lot of actions that are there and just play with them, mess with them till you get like the perfect color that you want. Then you run it through your pictures and that's pretty easy and simple.
Yeah, I love actions. Very,
Yeah,
very
all do.
helpful. Number
So yeah,
5.
number five, and this is probably the most important tip to me, I guess, is getting a graphic tablet. I use a Wacom tablet, and I would advise anybody that wants to go into retouching to get a Wacom tablet or a graphic tablet, whichever one it is that will work for you. Some people don't have a lot of money to spend on this. I think there are some for as low as $50 or $60 on Amazon. Just get something. You really cannot you just the day you start working with the graphic tablets, you wonder how you got by without it for like the amount of years or months or weeks that you've been retouching. So it's really, really important. I've been using one for about 3 years now, and I just cannot think about not having a Wacom tablet to work with right now. It will help you retouch precisely. And the reason why I say that is imagine how easy it is to write with your pen. Now try to write the same way you write with your pen. Try to do it with the mouse. You can see it's harder. So your brush strokes will be more precise. You'll be very accurate when you're retouching. And in turn, that will help you retouch better and get way better images.
Yeah, totally agree. When I first got my Wacom, it was very difficult to get adjusted to it. But once you get adjusted to it, you don't want to go back. Pretty much, it's
Yeah, true. Very true.
never want to walk back.
Yeah.
So, guys, so thank you very much. Let's see what the people have to say prints in the comments.
Okay.
So just a reminder, guys, when we start reviewing the two images, what we generally like to do is get feedback from the audience on what you guys think about the images, and if you agree with what we're saying or disagree with what we're saying, or just have a completely different perspective on the images. It will, help us and help the image creators, and it just help us have like a great conversation. So with that said, I know there's some of a delay here, but if you guys had any comments about the 5 tips that we just provided, put those comments below. We would definitely get to them and address them. So with that said, let me just look here. There's some comments in here. So let me see here. So Andrea Ponce. Hey, Andrea. Thank you for joining. Andrea is an amazing makeup artist here in North Carolina and hairstylist. So thank you for joining, Andrea. Keedron is in the house. Hey, what's up, Keedron? Keedron is saying Prince is a truth. For real. He's on point. So you know Keedron, right?
Yeah, 92.
Yes, 924, Mr. 924 Photography.
924 Photography. Yes, follow him. I subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and I am following him on Instagram.
Yeah, awesome. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Then we have Dennis George saying, what screen calibrator do you recommend? And if unable to buy one, can they be rented? I'm not sure about the rented thing.
I don't think you can. I don't know. I don't stay in the US, so I don't know. But I do not have one. I do not own one. But a friend owns one. So all I do is go to his place, pick his up, and I just use it.
There you go. That's a way of renting it.
Yeah.
Find a friend that you can borrow it from, and there you go. But Anthony, hey, what's up, Anthony? Anthony, you got to come back on the Monday critique, man. Stop hiding. So Anthony saying, Dennis, they can be rented. However, if you're going to calibrate it, it is recommended to calibrate regularly, as the colors and intensity of colors can change as your monitor ages. Awesome advice. I didn't know they could be rented, but thank you for answering that, Anthony. And then Dennis is saying, thank you, Anthony. So awesome. Hey, Wayne, my business partner is in the house. Just made it. Stanley, just checked out Prince's work. I love it, bro. Good stuff here. Good to see you again, Ernesto. Thank you, Stanley, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Stanley.
And made it in time, submitting a new image for review. Thank you, Marco. All right, guys, we're going to jump straight into these 2 images. Like I said, drop those comments down below. Share this live broadcast with people so they could join us. All right. So let's go. We're going to start with Shani Thomas. So let's start with Shani Thomas. So Miss Shani Thomas. So what we generally do here, guys, is we look at 4 things when we're reviewing images. And those 4 things are light, pose, composition, and post-production. So those are the 4 areas that we look at on every single image. Now, let's look at the settings, if Shani provided any, for this particular image. So the only thing that Shani provided here is that she shot this with a Nikon D610. She utilized natural light, and she used an 85 1.8 lens. So those were the details that she submitted around this particular image. So let's start out with light on this particular image. So as Shani's indicated, she used natural light in this particular image, and from the looks of it, it was harsh sunlight. My guess is probably maybe around between 12 and 2 p.m. in the afternoon, it looks like. And I must say, Shani, I commend you for basically going out there and taking the risk to shoot in this type of conditions. I definitely do it myself. I try to basically put myself in different situations to try to, see if I could create images, because sometimes, I shoot weddings and and obviously you don't have options and where you could shoot, right? You just have to shoot wherever, the wedding is happening at the time and when it's happening. You don't have a choice, right? So I definitely commend you in going out there and experimenting and, trying to create these images. So the one thing I would say with respect to the light in this image is that, one, it's a little bit too harsh, and two, it's a little bit overexposed. If I had to guess, I would say maybe 2 stops overexposed. So my suggestion here to help improve this image from a lighting perspective would have been, one, maybe get a diffuser and put that diffuser between the light, between the subject and the light, okay? So that you can have a much softer quality of light. And then, and then this image for me, from a lighting perspective, would have been a little bit better, I think. So those are my suggestions with respect to the light in this image. So that's all I have to say. So Prince, what do you think? What do you see in this image?
You did hit the nail right on the head. I think the light's actually too harsh. And my advice for anybody that wants to shoot outdoors, most people when they're starting up, they probably don't have strobes or, anything to go with like lights, and they just have to shoot outdoors. So what I always advise people to do is either you go out in the mornings or you go out in the evenings to shoot. And if you're going to shoot when the sun is this harsh, just go to somewhere that there's like a lot of shade. And I can see some at the back there, like round the tree, that would actually have probably given her a lot more like flattering light. So when you shoot with subjects, except you're going for this really high fashion and high contrast look, most times it's always good to shoot with diffuse light. And the best way to do that is get in between buildings, get into places that, the light's not hitting directly, or probably just pop up one of the cheap 3-in-1 reflectors and use the diffuser, and you're good. So yeah, exactly what you said. The light's actually too harsh.
Yeah. So Shani, I hope that that was helpful. Guys, just a reminder, drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think about the lighting in this particular image. And with that said, we're going to move on now to the posing in this particular image. So from a posing perspective, I find the pose very striking, very bold, and it's not typically the kind of pose that I typically would do. But that being said, I still think it's very interesting. I think it's, I just think it's very, very interesting. The one thing I would suggest with the pose for me is probably with her left hand. I would probably have her bring her left hand up closer to her head so that it could be more of like a triangle. And that's about it. I think I like your pose. So I think you and your subject work together nicely here to create the pose. Oh, another thing I would have probably gotten rid of too is her hair that's hanging there. I find that to be a little bit distracting. So I would have probably moved that hair to the other side or hide it completely so that it could be a little bit more of a cleaner line between her jawline and her neck. But other than that, like I said, I think it's very striking and I think it's very bold. So Prince, what do you think?
I'm just going to let you go with the pose one. Everything you said.
Okay.
I'm not good. I'm not good with posing subjects. I'm still learning. But yeah, I'll let you go with that. But everything you said is true. The hair's a little bit distracting, and the left hand. So yeah, I don't think I would be bold enough to tell any of my subjects to do this. So when I see people going out of something that's not my comfort zone and doing stuff like this, it's usually really interesting. So yeah, like I said, I'll just let you have the post.
All right. So Shani, I hope that was helpful. Guys, drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think about the pose, what you see differently than what we see. All right. So drop those comments down below. So the next thing we're going to move on to is the composition in this particular image. So the composition. So this is not the first image that Shani has submitted before, and every image that Shani has submitted, she's always have like a very interesting composition. And what I mean by interesting, it means like she always seems to try to, I guess, push the envelopes to something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it works, sometimes, it doesn't work that well. And I think in this particular case for me, I just don't think the composition in this particular case is working for me. I would even suggest that she go a little bit lower, but even if she goes lower, she'd be shooting into the bench. So that's not gonna look very flattering to me. I think the dead space that's above the bench is a little bit distracting. Like it doesn't draw me into the image. It draws me into that part of the image up here, then to her face. So I would say maybe just change your camera angle, maybe move a little bit more to your left or to your right and a little bit lower. But the bench, I think I can't work around the bench. The pose works, but maybe moving the pose and the subject to another flat area where there is no bench. So that's what I think. So I can't really suggest how to correct the composition here because the bench is really distracting me from this particular image. So I would probably say move completely with respect to the composition. What do you think, Prince?
So different things work together to make an image great. It's not just one thing, right? So just think about this image being shot during dawn or dusk, and the same the things we talked about with the posing, the hair, hiding the hair, and fixing the hand. Then she just going down at a lower angle because that's what I really think. Now, when people shoot, I always advise them for the most part for the camera lens to be at almost the same level with your subject's, face or head and all that. It's usually like a more flattering perspective. Sometimes it's good to go lower because it helps you look up at the subject. So when someone's looking at your image, there's this feeling of should I say royalty? When you watch movies and they're probably like trying to show a king, they show them from a very low angle. So it's like you're looking up to the person. So it shows an angle of prestige. So it's either you're a bit lower than the person, or you are probably on the same level with the person. That's what I advise when people take portraits. Now, for an image like this, like you said, the bench is not working at all. So even if she moves to the left or probably to the right, I would advise she moves to the right if for this image, if she really wants to shoot in this position, and probably like just change the pose because the pose and the composition, they will definitely work together in an image like this.
Yeah, definitely agree. All right, guys, drop those comments down below. Let us know what you think about this composition. So let's move on here to the last thing about this particular image, and that is the post-production. Now, obviously, going back to the lighting, the one thing that we said in this particular image is that the lighting is a little bit overexposed. Now, obviously, we have a JPEG image. I can't really do much with this particular JPEG image, and I'm not even sure how much you could do with the raw image. That being said, in one of my videos previously, I said, black and white generally doesn't save an image. So in this particular case, I would suggest making it black and white, but I don't ever think making it black and white would help with this particular image. I would say just drop the exposure a little bit. Perhaps try to work it in black and white because of the high contrast. And maybe that would work a little bit better with this particular image as to the post-production that you did with it here. And also trying to blend out, or not blend out, but actually transition the lights and shadows a little bit, try to transition that a little bit more clearer, because making that a little bit cleaner would also help to help with the distractions on the subject's skin. And also, if I look here under the subject's eyes, she has this, I don't know what you call that. Let me zoom in here on it.
Eye
So,
bags.
yes, eye bags. There you go. Hang on. Let me zoom in here on her eyes. Oops. So yeah, here. So maybe you could just use like the healing brush or something, or even dodge and burn this particular area, more dodging it, and just try to transition here between the lights and shadows. I'm probably doing a terrible job here in explaining the retouching, and I'm sure Prince is probably going to make a better he's going to make a better explanation than I'm making here. But those are my general thoughts. Try to see if you could fix the overexposure issue. I'm not really sure if you can. And perhaps, help with the transition between the lights and shadows, and maybe make it black and white. Those are my general thoughts. So Prince, what do you think?
I love the color. I think the color is great. The color in this image, the way she graded it is fantastic. Now, like you said, the eye bags, those major distractions. Then another thing is probably the side boob. If I was to do this image, I would definitely like reduce that because
I missed that,
it looks
Prince.
it looks a little bit weird. And yeah, so if you look at the top of her head, there's this like dark patch that's on the side. I'll probably tone that down a little bit. And yeah, that's it for me. I just don't think like when it comes to retouching, there's a lot that can be done for this image. Maybe black and white too might work, but yeah, it takes a lot of things to make an image great. It's not just retouching. So retouching is like the last part, just to refine the image. So if the pose is right, if the lighting is right, if the composition is right, even without retouching, the image is still going to look great. So I think she just needs to work on getting those three things right, and retouching will come after that.
Agreed, man. Very insightful. All right, so let's see what the folks have to say here in the comments. I don't know if you could see the comments, Prince, but I'm just scrolling through here the comments. Let's see. Submit in. Hey guys. Oh, Elysium. Hey, I'm a new subscriber to the channel. Welcome, Elysium. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. So Anthony is saying she would have had a hard time diffusing the sun for the full body shot. The shadow for the diffuser likely would have been visible in the shot. Correct? If she composed it differently. The composition is the issue here. Unless she had a really big diffuser, yes. She could definitely have a big diffuser, but I think the composition is the problem. Cropping in it a little bit closer might have been better in this particular situation. And then Elysium saying, wouldn't an ND filter help with the harsh light? No. It wouldn't. It would still be there.
Yeah, so what ND filters do generally is cut the light that's coming into your lens, not the light that's hitting your subject. So those are two different things.
Yeah. And Photo Me Ike is in the building. What up, Photo Me Ike?
What up, Photo Me Ike?
Maybe you could tell Photo Me Ike to join the Monday Critique because, he's been, dodging. He's been busy, Come on, Photo Me Ike. Join the Monday Critique. Don't give us eyeballs.
How did I get here before you?
See? So Anthony's saying no, Elysium, and so Anthony's just answering the question there. So I wouldn't read it. He's answering. So thank you, Anthony, for being on top of that. It could potentially help in the overexposure issue, but he's basically saying exactly what you just said, Prince. If you don't know, Anthony is an awesome dude that gives feedback in the groups all the time. So
Thanks, Anthony.
Anthony's awesome. Andrea is saying, I think the armpit and side boob. So she found it before we did, Prince.
Yeah, I was just going off what she said.
So So Andrea is zooming in on that. Air is a little bit distracting with the pose, and the neck looks short, but the pose is striking. Yep, definitely agree with all those points, Andrea. Marco, small Wacom is 45 at times. Is that $45?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gets the job done and very portable. I use the large one Pro, and at times I wish I had a smaller one. I have a very small one. I'll show you guys it in a minute, but I have a very small one. I don't really use the Pro ones. I just use a very cheap one.
I'm big. It's huge. I have the medium-sized Pro one.
Oh, wow. Do you
Yeah.
think there's any advantage?
No,
No.
nah, nah, not at all. Except you're probably into drawing and all that. Yeah, I got mine for like probably half the price. It was like a deal, so I got it. And I asked for a small one, but they didn't have it. They only had the medium, so I just had to buy it. Yeah, either way.
Do you use all the surface, or you use a small piece of the surface?
So I didn't calibrate it to use one part. I just use everything.
You use the whole
So
surface.
yeah, it takes a lot of moving around, and it's not great.
Yeah, I learned that little trick from what's his name? Damn it! No, I'm forgetting it. Oh, from Flern, how to restrict the pace, the
Yeah.
location on the iPad. I mean the iPad, the on the pad. That came in so handy with the movement. Even though my pad is really small, I'm telling you, it's like really small, but I still restricted and it really helped out.
Okay.
So what we have here, so Zachary is saying, if you were to flip it to black and white, it will maybe save the pose if they were going for a dark feel of the image. Perhaps I don't know. Then we have Photo Me Ike is giving us a donation, so thank you very much, Photo Me Ike, and you have a question. Watching this, well, not a question, maybe a comment. Watching this on my iPad while I cook dinner, but bumped on my computer to send some dollars for OG Ernesto and the Prince, respect to my fellow YouTubers. Thank you very much, Anthony. Appreciate the super chat, man.
Thanks, man. That's so thoughtful of you.
Yes, very thoughtful. Thanks, Anthony. I'm still very new to the photography. I've seen quite a few YouTubers recommend ND filters as harsh, so he's gone off of Anthony's comments. So thank you again, Anthony. This is also a good candidate for black and white because there is not a lot of color in this image, said Anthony. And then Photo Me Ike, and a brother just got that AdSense check, so I'm I'm in a given mood. That's nice of you, man. That's nice of you. Photo Me Ike. Share the love. Marco, so many talented people in this chat. Props to you all. All right, so I'm gonna come back to these comments because we're gonna have a conversation at the end, but I just want to get to the next image here and then we're gonna continue. But I keep all those comments coming, guys, because this is what helps make the show awesome. You guys. So
Very interesting.
All right, so let's move on here to the second image. The second image was submitted by Darren Severs. So let me see what Darren had to say about his image when he submitted it. So Darren basically captured this with a Canon 550D, I think 550D. Okay, I'm a Canon shooter. I should know that. I'm embarrassed. He shot this with a 50 at 1.8. No, he shot this with a 50 1.8 at f5.6 ISO 100, and then the shutter was 1/60th of a second. He used the I'm not gonna say that word because I can't pronounce it. He used a flash, a speed light. All right, and then he shot this at 1/16th power. Camera left. You place it in a 60x60 softbox, and those were his settings. All right, so let's get straight into this image. We're gonna start off with light, then we're gonna move on to pose, then we're gonna move on to the composition. So guys, drop those comments down below. Let us know what you think about these, our comments, and what you guys see and what we don't see, right? Okay, so let's start out here with light. So off the bat, I see here, Darren, that you're trying to go for a very, very dramatic image. That's what I could tell from your light in here with the extreme shadows and the highlights. So, which is fine. If that's what you're trying to go for, then it's totally fine. I quite actually like the light. I like how the light tickles the young lady's stomach. I like how it just highlights everything, nicely. The only thing I would say with respect to the light, it's more not necessarily the light, but more the shadows. So I would say, yes, you could go for your dark, dramatic. Yes, you could go for your dark, dramatic look, which is fine. But I just think a little bit of details in the shadow area would have really helped with this particular image, especially on the young lady's face and her hair. And besides those two things, I don't really think I see much. I mean, I can nitpick here and say, if you look here on the banister, it's a little bit overexposed there. But I think besides the, adding the shadow details in there in this particular image, which is a subjective thing. If this is what you really like, you like to crush the shadows. If that's what you like, then it's fine. But if that wasn't your intention and you were trying to get some details in there, probably use like a reflector or maybe another light to just add a little bit of detail into the shadow area. And that's all I have to say about your light. And I think overall you did a great job. Prince, what do you think?
I think I'll just go with what you said, but it's just a little bit overexposed on the side. And yeah, that's it. So I think he should just bring down the exposure of the light next time.
Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the pose in this particular image. So I really like the pose in this image. I really like the elegance of it. I really like what you're trying to go for here. It's very nice. So two tips I would say to help improve this just a little bit more, and is what I generally do. For the most part, this young lady is very slim, slender, and yeah, she's very slim and slender. But what I generally do, even though I'm working with a subject just like this young lady, what I try to tell them to do is basically breathe in right before I take the shot. And what that helps to take care of, because every person have it, I think, is this little area right here on the young lady. Let me see if I could draw it in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So right here. So if she would have breathed in right before you took that shot, it would help with two things. It would have get rid of this, not probably, but it would have gotten rid of that, and it would have increased her bust area a little bit. Okay, so those are the two things that correct in one shot. So that's one. The other thing is when I'm posing a subject, what I try to do is the leg that's facing the camera, I try to bend that leg as opposed to the leg that's behind. And the reason I do that is because it adds a nice little shape to the subject. Usually when you want the leg in the front not bent is when you're trying to give someone a little bit of a booty. Maybe that's what you were trying to do. But if you're not trying to emphasize the booty, bend that leg that's facing the camera, and that would give the subject a nice lines. So that's what I would suggest here with respect to your pose, those two tips. But I think overall, I think you have a very nice pose here. It's very elegant. I really love it. So Prince, what do you think?
What Ernesto said. You should say everything. So yeah, what he said. Like I said, I'm still learning how to pose, and yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, and I think Ernesto. The other day when I talked to you, I told you about how your posing is great, and if anybody should talk about posing.
Hey Prince.
On this segment.
Hey Prince.
Yeah.
You're frozen. I don't know if you want to dial me back. we'll wait for Prince to dial me back. And before I move on to the next stuff, let me just read through here your comments. Hey, Prince. Sorry, guys. Just there we go. Hey.
Yep, I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm just tired. But yeah, so what were you talking about?
You were talking about posing.
Oh yeah, like what Ernesto said. You're perfect. You know how to pose, and that's your thing. So I'm just going to move to the next.
All right, guys. So drop your comments down below. Let us know what you think about the posing and whatnot. But yeah, those are my just general 2 tips about this particular image. But like I said, it's good. You did a good job, and your subject did a good job. So let's move on here to the composition. So from a compositional perspective, this is going to be very quick. I have no comment. It's pretty good. I don't have any comment about it. What do you think, Prince?
It's nice, great, perfect. I think the only thing I would say is not to leave too much negative space on the right, because with what I learned growing up in photography was that a lot of the time people tend to read from left to right. So most times when they already see what's there right, on the right, it's just like there's nothing to look for. There's nothing to look at.
And I think we just lost Prince again.
Yeah.
So Prince is gonna dial back in and he's gonna finish up his thought. So while we
Hello?
wait, hey, you there? Prince? All right, so we're gonna wait for Prince to dial us back. Sorry guys, live show. Hey Prince.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
I really don't know what's happening.
That's okay.
Yeah, so what was I saying about composition? So what I learned was most people read from left to right, so it's always good to leave the negative space on the left and not on the right. So that's just like me nitpicking, but I think it's really good.
Yep, I agree with that left to right statement. I heard that somewhere. Someone said that before. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Jerry Dionis is talking about reading from left to right. So yeah, great comment there. So lastly, let's move on here to the post-production in this image. So from a post-production perspective,
Yeah.
I don't have much to say with respect to the post-production. The only thing I would say is just, again, with the transition in between the shadows, the lights and shadows transition in between those 2 things, I think would help smooth this image out a little bit more on the subject's skin.
Okay.
I like the purple, if that's purple, if I'm reading that right. But yeah, I don't have much to say with respect to your post-production, at least from me. So, Prince, what do you got to say?
Yeah, just 2 things for me though. If I feel like the image should be black and white. So if it's going to be black and white, then it should be black and white. And if it's going to be colored, then it should be colored. Sometimes this adding is kind of colored to like a black and white image works, but if you want an image to look really dramatic, then most times just leave it as black and white. And secondly, I feel like he should have used the liquify tool just to push the stomach in like a little bit. She looks great, but like the bottom part of the stomach looks like it's like out there. So that's just me though.
Yeah. So I just made it black and white. I don't know if you could see my screen, but it looks great in black and white.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree with that. So that is the 2 images. And before we jump into the comments here to read your feedback, because I'm hoping that you guys put some great feedback in there, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you guys once again how you could submit your images. We're going to jump into the comments, and then we're going to have a conversation with Prince, and then we're going to close out the show. All right, so that's how it's going to go. So let me tell you guys really quickly how you could submit your images once again. So if you go to Facebook, right, so currently this is the only location where you could submit your images, which is on Facebook. And the group is called Fine Art Photography and Modeling. So if you do a search on Facebook for Fine Art Photography and Modeling, in that group, there's a specific pin post where you could submit your images. Sorry, guys. So that pin post is right here. So it has my face on it. And you go to the comment section, and in the comment section, you're gonna upload your images just like Andrea just did. Thank you, Andrea. So submit your images along with your settings and how you capture it and whatnot. And this would help us to just give us a little bit of context around your particular image. Once it's submitted, what we do is we review these images in chronological order and provide feedback along the way. Now, the group is not about just critique. You could share your images with the other members of this group. This group is not about building numbers. It's not about getting this group to like 20,000, members or anything like that. Like I said before, if you don't answer the 3 questions if you're not a member of this group, you're not gonna get in. That's pretty much it. So as long as you answer those 3 questions, you will get into the group. And then like this member, he just requested it. He answered all the 3 questions and he gets let right into the group. So if you do the same thing, you will get straight into the group. And that's all you have to do, and submit your images. And at some point when we get to it, it will come up on the Monday Critique show. All right. So now let's jump into the comments really quick, and then we're going to talk to Prince. Let me switch here because this is probably going to be a little bit of a lengthier conversation with our third guest, which is you guys, the members. So let me get here a good screen so I can highlight you guys properly. Okay, there you go, all highlighted. All right, so let's roll through these comments here really quick, and then we'll talk to Prince. Okay, guys? So that's the order of events. So let's see here. The camera doesn't have to have a shutter speed fast enough to expose properly. That's a comment from Anthony. So I think he's still having a conversation with Elysium. So thank you again, Anthony, for feeding those comments and addressing them live. So Photo Me Ike is smiling. So Photo Me Ike is still saying, I am no good at critique, but if you want to talk shop about that A9 and your feelings about mirrorless, I am game. Everybody is good at critique.
Yeah, you should add that to, critique this, then we'll talk about the A9.
Exactly. Yes, A9 critique. All right. So I have you for next Monday, right? Photo Me Ike next Monday. Yes, thumbs up. Put a thumbs up in the comments if you're good for next Monday. All right. So Marco is saying ha. So I guess he's laughing at that. A9 is the truth. Okay. Anthony is saying I have a medium Wacom and it really could use hang on. Let me back up here. Okay. So Anthony is saying I have a medium Wacom and really could use a small, as I only use a small portion of my medium. Yeah, I don't think the big one helps me because I only use a little small sliver of that area. So Photo Me Ike is laughing at Marco. Marco, I had a choice between, okay, so they're having a conversation about the A9, so I'll skip over that, but the A9 is still the boss. So Andrea is saying the light directs the eye straight to the boob and rib. So that she's talking about Shani's image. By the way, Andrea is like is the trifecta. She does hair, makeup, and she do photography. So she's like the trifecta. She's like totally awesome. I am happy and honored to know her. She gives me some great, ideas for photography. So thank you, Andrea. Marco is still talking about the A9. Photo me, I can still talking about the A9. So Anthony is saying, completely agree, Ernesto, on the face shadows. In this current state, it creates such a large area of blackness that is distracting. I just need a little bit more shadows. I just need a little bit more details in the shadow area. Maybe we are not supposed to be focusing on her head though. That's what Anthony is saying. I don't know. Maybe because I guess wherever he's highlighting the light, maybe that's where he's supposed to be looking, perhaps. But I would still like some more details in that shadow though. So Andrea is saying, I think I would have liked to see her face turn more into the light to see more detail in the face, like a 3x4 profile. I think that would have changed the whole mood of the image. So I just think adding a little bit details in the shadow would have helped. But again, if this was the image creator's goal to crush those shadows, to have those deep shadows like he did, to add that much contrast, I think, he did his job. He accomplished it. So Anthony is saying, boom, Prince said exactly what I was thinking. Yes, you guys are on the same wavelength. Marco is saying, I would have shot her behind the bench with the sun coming through, use the bench as a gobo, and work on pose while sitting. Actually, that's a good idea, Marco. I didn't think of that, but that is a good idea because you could have used that harsh light. Yes, actually, that could have worked. That could have worked. Actually, good idea, Marco. You see, this is why we have this awesome audience. Yeah, that was a great idea. I didn't think about that. So Anthony saying, I for sure would have moved the camera to the left to eliminate the dead space on the right. Sure. So I think he's agreeing with you there again, Prince. So D-Mac, what's up? Welcome. Anthony is saying, I agree with Prince on the liquefy. Even though we all have that sort of thing, seeing it in an image causes one to focus on it. So it would be nice to push that in so it doesn't stand out as much. I agree, but you can also correct it with a pose. So follow those tips and you liquefy in real time. How about that? Andrea is saying, we submitted an image for the next time. Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate it. I will definitely get to it. Photo Me Ike has given us the thumbs up. Thank you, Photo Me Ike.
Yeah. Next Monday.
Yes, next Monday. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's what he's giving the thumbs up for. I will be in touch with you, Photo Me Ike. Thank you. I will be in touch so we could get this Monday critique scheduled for next Monday. So Zachary is saying, seems the links aren't working for me, Ernesto, the Facebook and the group to submit photos. Let me put the link here in the description so you guys can have it. Not the descriptions. Well, it is in the description actually of the video. But I'll put the link here in the comments so that you guys can have it. And then we'll go to so there, I just put the link in the chat. So Zachary, if you're having an issue, if you click on that link, you should be able to get to it. All right. So now let's go back to my desktop and let's have a conversation with our guests. So, all right.
What's good, guys?
Let me see here. Zachary, yeah, when I clicked on it both, it doesn't work. Not sure why. Yeah, I'm not sure why, Zachary. Shoot me an email, shoot me a message on Facebook and we'll figure it out. I'll get you that link if you can't find it. I'll get you that link. All right. So guys, Prince Meyson, like I said, is our wonderful guest for this evening. Prince, I really appreciate you sticking
Thank you.
around at 3 a.m. now. I think maybe it's
Yeah,
3 a.m. in the morning. Man, damn, wow, I really appreciate it. That's love right there. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
you're welcome.
So guys, Prince is having, so if you think his work is amazing, which it is, I have it up on my screen right now. You guys should be able to see it. This is his website, right? So he has some amazing work here. I'm actually pretty jealous that I can't do this, but you guys should definitely go check it out. Now, if you are in Nigeria, specifically, I guess Lagos, is it? Is that right?
Lagos.
Lagos. There we go. Lagos. He is having a workshop. So let me bring up the workshop here. I think it's like a 4-day workshop, right? I mean, it's 2 days for basic and 2 days
Yeah,
for
basic
advanced.
today. Yeah.
I'll let you elaborate on your workshop here. But guys, if you're in that area or you want to take a trip over to Nigeria,
Ooh.
you know, you could get all these, you could create images just like this. So think about that. The cost of a ticket will make you a wonderful retoucher and photographer, you know? So think about that. Jump on a flight if you're not in the area and go to this workshop. It's a 4-day workshop. So Prince, I'll let you talk about it and let the folks know a little bit more about this workshop and what they will learn, what they would need, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, so basically it's going to be a basic and an advanced workshop, and it's literally going to be practicals like all through. Yeah, definitely. I'll explain a few theoretical things, but it'll just be practicals. Like I'm trying to show people how I shoot and show them how I retouch. Got that?
Yes.
Yeah, so the first 2 days would probably be just basic teaching and basic retouching. So right here, you have a lot of makeup artists that want to learn one or two things about photography. You have photo enthusiasts that just want to learn one or two things about photography too. So the first 2 days will be about them, teaching them like basics, how to probably shoot. Let's just say photography 101, how to shoot with like a flash, how to take nice images with a flash on top of your camera, bouncing light, and all that. Then learning how to use like the basic things in Photoshop, like the clone stamp tool, the spot removal tool, and all those little things to just help them enhance their images a little bit. Learning how to mask and all that. Then the next 2 days will be for people who have been shooting for a while, but are trying to improve their beauty lighting and their beauty retouching. So that'll be for like I'll just say that would be an advanced class. So people that want to take pictures just like me. Let's say you've been shooting, you know all about your camera settings, you know about lighting, but you just want to see how I do it and add that to your style. And yeah, so that's just what the next 2 days will be about. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm hoping to bring in 3 models, bring in about 2 makeup artists to come and work with me on this project. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Guys, this is an amazing opportunity. You should definitely take advantage of it because not a lot of retouchers on this level give away this much secrets. So if you can, I would say definitely go out there and take part in this 4-day workshop. I mean, that's an intense workshop, and it's covering photo shoots, it's covering and the retouching part of it, you know, because both of those things bring it all together. And like you said in the 5 tips, you know, as far as the photography is concerned, if you get it right in camera, obviously the post-production part of it is just, you know, icing on the cake, but get it right in camera, and he's going to show you guys how to do that. One thing I see here on your requirement equipment, and this is probably going to make Photo Me Ike happy,
Yeah.
is your digital DSLR. I think Photo Me Ike would want to say mirrorless. It's mirrorless, bring his mirrorless. It's
So,
A9.
so yeah, that's the thing. So in Nigeria, you do not see a lot of people using mirrorless cameras right now. So I think for the most part, we're still stuck on the whole
DSLR.
yeah, DSLR thing, and yeah, it's going to take a while before we move out of this because most people do not want to spend that much money on mirrorless systems when they can't actually just rent lenses and all that stuff. Like as a photographer, I have a lot of friends that are photographers, and we basically all use Canon gear. So it's easy for me to say, okay, I need an 85 1.4 today, so I can just call somebody up and say, okay, I'll pick this guy's lens up. That's just one part. You can always get an adapter to use with your stuff and all that. But I just feel like native lenses work better when you use all the systems. And yeah, for the most part, mirrorless is growing. I hope to buy an A7R3 because I want to see how it's going to look. And the good thing about you guys there is you guys can rent, test it, and return it. You can't rent from anywhere here, so you just have to put that $3,300 out there with the hope that that will be like the camera for you. So yeah, so if you have a mirrorless camera, please come. I would like to test it out. So just show my shop.
Awesome. So these workshops, by the way, the dates of these workshops is going to be December 11th to the 12th. That's the first one, right? That's the basic one from December to the 12th. And then the advanced one is going to be from December 13th to the 14th. So guys, definitely jump on this workshop. Take advantage of it, So let's jump into the comments here and see what people have to say. And then, before I go to the comments, let me show you guys his Instagram so you guys can follow him on Instagram. It's very simple. Prince Meyson, not like mine where it's, Joe Pulse. Doesn't make any sense, but Prince Meyson, it's right there. So give him a follow on the Instagram. He has his workshop listed there as well. And he also share his amazing work right here. I mean, just look at this stuff. It's great, great stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna stop scrolling now because it's just like one great image after the next. Okay. All right, so let's go to the comments, man. Let's see what the people have to say. So let's scroll up here. So I know you guys mentioned the negative space in the last photo, but if we were to factor in the rule of thirds, isn't the composition spot on? To me, this composition is fine, but what we're talking about here, I guess, is just how people perceive images sometimes, when they're reading it from left to right. It's up to you. You have to figure out the right feeling you have to figure out, as the creator, you have to figure out what you're trying to elicit. If you're trying to present some type of struggle, some type of, what's the right word I'm looking for? If you're trying to present a type of disconnect and trying to force people to think, then you will compose your image in such a way or put things in your image to force someone to think about it a little bit. But I guess if you don't want, if you want your images to read, I guess, a little bit better, what Prince is saying is, and Prince, you could correct me because this is your suggestion, right? Is to basically try to present your subject in such a way in your composition so that when a viewer is looking at it, they are reading the image from left to right. It flows nicely. That's pretty much what he's suggesting.
Yes, perfect. That's it.
So let's moving on here. So Marco is saying that pronounce is Young New O. There we go. Young New O. Thank you, Marco. I'm gonna do that from now on. Young New O. That's the Young New O flash. Prince, your edits are amazing. So Zachary James is saying your edits are amazing.
Thank you so much, Zachary James. Thank you so much.
And he's saying, the cost of a ticket. Yes, the cost of a ticket. I mean, how much would you pay for your education? Like, for example, I don't know, it was Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And I'm sure a lot of people, pushed out a lot of money, or I should say not a lot of money because you're supposed to be saving, right? But pushed out money on a lot of gear this Black Friday and Cyber Monday. They pushed out a lot of money on gear. But I spent $0 on gear. Guess what I spent my money on? education. I bought a whole bunch of courses that's over like 100 hours long that I will be consuming because that's what I want to spend my money on, education. So a cost of a ticket to get the experience that this guy has, I think is an invaluable thing. So if you bought gear that costs the cost of a ticket, I would suggest return your gear, buy the ticket, and go and join this class. That'll probably be that'll probably be a better way of spending cash, I think.
Yeah. Let me just put it out there. If I bought gear, I wouldn't return it.
Well, you wouldn't. I'm not a gear. What is it? What's they call it? Gas. I'm not a gas type person. Gear acquisition syndrome. I don't go after gear like that.
Yeah. I think I'll get to that point in my life. I'm waiting to get there. I come from this school of thought that if you have the money you can spend it, just buy it.
Yeah, I'm the school of thought of keep it in my pocket as long as I can. So Elysium, wow, I wish I could do the workshop. I feel like I can only learn but so much watching YouTube tutorials. Sadly, that plane ticket is not in my budget. Understandable. Watch his YouTube videos though. Join his, subscribe to his channel, and you'll still get a lot of information from it. So definitely do that, even if you can't afford the ticket. I'm jesting here about the ticket, but if you could, go for it. But if you can't, watch his YouTube videos. He has a lot of great tips on there. So DMAC, Prince, any plans on coming to the US? That'll be a question for you, Prince.
Yeah, definitely. Remember I was talking to you and I was telling you about coming next year. So yes, I want to come next year, and I'll probably do a workshop with Ernesto and Photo Me Ike.
That means Photo Me Ike had to come out of St. Louis. Yeah, you got to come out of St. Louis and come over to the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Yes, Photo Me Ike.
He likes things like this.
Thumbs up. Photo Me Ike reunion. Prince need to record more videos. Photo Me Ike is saying. What do you think about that?
I will. I am working on doing that, and I want to do a live session where people get to send their images in, and I'll retouch them to where I feel like I will. But yeah, so basically, some images I get from people, I just do not get like the inspiration to retouch them, but I'm just inspired. I'm just being very honest here. But yeah, so it's something I want to do, and hopefully when I get more followers, I can put that out there, and people will send their images the same way they're putting on your Facebook page, and I'll take those images, retouch them in the live session, and just put them out there for people to see. So that's it.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea. And you would definitely come across more issues because you didn't shoot the image and give you more content for your YouTube channel. So Marco is asking, what's Prince's channel? So Marco, if you look in the description below this video, I put his link to his channel. But if you go on YouTube and you do a search for Prince Meyson, you'll find it as well. But the link is in the description below, along with his Instagram, and the link to the workshop as well is in the description. So hang on, I just skipped through some questions here. Okay. So how much is a flight to Nigeria? I will do the makeup and hair. So Andrea is saying she's willing to go to Nigeria and hook you up with some hair and makeup.
A flight. I think if you buy your tickets months before, it's about $1,000.
So there you go, Andrea. It's about $1,000.
And then still laughed.
So if you want to go to Nigeria, definitely buy that ticket, Andrea. Take a deep breath, Marco is saying. So Marco is saying the little liquefy action and boom. So he's talking about the previous image, the last image we just critiqued. So Andrea, okay. So this is the third person that's making fun of my Instagram name. So Photo Me Ike was the first one to make fun of it. Keedron made fun of it. And now Andrea is making fun of my Joe Pulse Instagram name. So I don't know. Maybe I'll change it back to my Ernesto S because that's what it was before. So a
Yeah.
lot of people make it fun of my Joe Pulse name. So I get it. I know it's like, I was never a big fan of the social media world. So I never really cared about handles.
Yeah.
But I get it. At some point, I will change it back to Ernesto S because it was Ernesto S to begin with. And I changed it to Joe
Well,
Pulse.
wait.
What was that?
I said we're waiting.
You're waiting. No, I'm not going to do it right now. Yes. So I get it, Andrea. Point well taken. Marco, by the way, do not upgrade to the latest version of Mac OS. You will lose Nick Collection now having to restore from Time Machine backup. Yes, I've been getting requests to upgrade my Mac and I haven't done it yet because I was afraid that something might break, and you just
Can I
confirmed it.
can I tell you my story?
Go
Because
ahead.
I updated mine and my laptop just went off and
Wow.
it crashed literally like the laptop crashed. So I tried to put in the previous OS because I had like the downloaded one on my friend's laptop and it didn't work because it changed the SSD I don't know format system, so it changed it to like APS or something. So I had to now install the new one again for it to work. So it took me about 4 to 5 hours to figure all that out and still get my file. Like I literally tried to format my system and it wouldn't even let me format it. So yeah, just be very careful. Just leave that for now because a lot of people are complaining and there are like so many issues in so many places. Some people have lost all their files and all that. So just be very careful.
Yeah. Don't always be the one to get the new shiny thing.
Yes.
Wait for everybody else to get it and work out the kinks, and then you could jump on the wagon.
Wait for views.
Exactly. Um, so um, so Zachary is saying I save so much I am good. Okay, yes. Watch his YouTube channel. So Wayne is giving us a thumbs up. I am returning all my gear now. Oh, well, no, don't do that right now, Wayne. Don't do that. We need that gear. Don't return any gear. No more. Don't do that. And he's saying no more videos. I don't think anybody wants that to happen. So no, don't return your gear. So LRS Photographer is saying keep grinding, Prince. Keep up the great work. Yes, Prince. Pump
Thank
out
you,
those
LRS. I
videos.
really
Make us all
appreciate it.
better.
Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
So Andrea is saying on second thought, so she's second guessing
Yeah.
that $1,000 ticket right now.
She's not coming.
And then Zachary is saying leave it, man. It's original. So Zachary likes my Joe Pulse name. So guys, go check me out on Joe. Go subscribe to my Instagram. It's called Joe Pulse. That's
Sorry,
JoePulse.
I'm laughing at me ex joke.
Go check me out. And then Andrea Pounce. Who is Joe Pulse? Who is Joe? I'm gonna probably steal that hashtag. Hashtag Who is Joe? And then Photomiak is saying Andrea Pounce. At Joe Pulse probably used to be Ernesto's spam account. Funny, funny. All right. So yeah, I think this was an awesome show. I think we got some great tips out there. Guys, I really enjoy what's Andrea saying. Oh, she's making. See, I'm terrible with names, Andrea. You know this. So I will butcher people's name easily. Maybe that's why it's Joe Pulse. It's I butcher my own name. so I'm not going to yeah, I'll just say it that way. All right, guys. So make sure you join the Facebook group if you want to submit your images. I really appreciate all you guys tuning in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on this video. Go and check out Prince's work on his YouTube. Subscribe to his YouTube channel because he does some awesome work and gives some awesome tips. If you could join his workshop, please go ahead and do so. What is it saying here? I changed my YouTube name cause of you, Ernesto. What did you change it to? So Zachary is saying he changed. This was really informative and entertaining. Can't wait until the next one. Thank you, guys. So Elysium is saying that. So thank you, Elysium. Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about with Prince here is we were talking, what was it, on Saturday, forget what day it is. But I was trying to entertain, expanding this conversation, not on the Monday critique, but expanding the conversation more around full-time photographer, the business aspect of photography. It's not all fun. Photography is not all fun, but there's also, the business part of it. So I wanted to invite Prince back to have another live conversation, not about images, not about, that kind of stuff, but, the business of photography, especially getting his perspective. So we'll try to work out those details. If you guys think that will be awesome, please, let us know. But I think that will be a great conversation for folks to have, especially in this day and age, because money is important and knowing how to make it is important. So I think that would be a great conversation to have. So with that said, I am going to wrap it up here. Guys, drop a comment down below, put a thumbs up on this video, share this video with your friends and family. And if you got this far in this video, which is like an hour and a half in, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And stop being a stalker. And I'll see you guys on the next video. It was awesome. Bye-bye.
Peace, guys.
Peace.